cares about is money. We don't give a damn about money over here. You ain't gotta worry about whether or not we work or not. We could be a damn rocket scientist for all that matters. That's not more important than this right here.
Right.
It doesn't matter about what status you have on the earth and your economic status. What matters is if you keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments if you're black and Hispanic. If you're not, we don't care what you do. Go ahead and enjoy your kingdom while you can, because it's gonna come to an end. Your BMW's not gonna work when the EMP hits. You understand that? Your military might is not gonna work when the nukes drop. None of this is gonna matter when the decree brings forth and the day pass as the chaff and the fierce anger of the Lord is brought on this earth, because the earth deserves it. And the inhabitants thereof are disgusting and vile in the face of the Lord. Read that again.
A people that provoketh me to anger.
The Most High has been provoked to anger, and his anger is being shown every day on the earth. Every day in our ghettos, in our communities, when it could be so much different. It could be so much different if we would get this thing right. And this is where you get it right. This is where you do this thing the right way. This is the only chance you have, black and Hispanic man. This is the place of refuge. This is that little sanctuary that the Most High will protect you in. The King James Bible, if you're an English-speaking person, that's the authorized version of the Bible that you want to read. You don't want to read the New International Version. You don't want to read the Gideon's version. What the enemy wants to do, what Satan wants to do, is he wants to take the two-edged sword of the King James Bible out of your hands and replace it with a butter knife called the NIV. Replace it with a butter knife called the New King James. He doesn't want you armed. He doesn't want you able to battle the dark forces on this world. And they have you right now. They have you because you're out here enjoying the monument that's over the grave of the Native Americans, which are the children of Israel.
Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us.
Y'all thought that the Battle of the Alamo was finished. Y'all thought that the so-called Hispanic man lost that battle. It's still going on right now. Right. Because you have men that are waking up to the truth and coming back to their real culture. The real story of the Battle of the Alamo was that all that fighting at the Battle of the Alamo, get this, listen good. I'll give you a story about the Battle of the Alamo. You've heard of, have you heard of Joe Travis? Joe Travis was a black slave. His slave master fought and died at the Battle of the Alamo. And the so-called Hispanics took over the Alamo, and then when they found that black man there, they let him go free. The whole Battle of the Alamo, you know what the real result of that battle was? A black man got to go free, and he was saved by his brothers, the Mexican man.
That's right.
And that's worth applauding right there. Because black and brown unity is the key to the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel coming back together and bringing our righteousness to our people once again. But you're not going to see that in the world. The world's going to ignore that. And so we have to make sure that we interrupt that atmosphere of false reality around you. We have to make sure to disrupt it so that you actually have a fighting chance, because that's how much we care about y'all, even though y'all aren't in our direct family circle. We have to see the bigger picture and understand the perspective that there's a much bigger mission at stake here than just the Battle of the Alamo, than just the Battle of Wounded Knee, than the transatlantic slave trade and all of the things that came from that. We have a rebuilding of the nation at hand, and that requires soldiers. That requires men that are willing to stand up for the truth. The lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel for hundreds of years have not known who they are. But damn it, you gonna find out who you are.
That's
because
right.
we're gonna make sure that you know the proof is right there in history. We're gonna make sure that every demon gets exercised off of your spirit so that you can come back to your culture and you can stand strong. And we may be an exceedingly great army. Read.
Seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God.
Seeing that you went ahead and forgot God's law, statutes, and commandments, and that you go back to you go back to your enemies and follow their cultures, their customs. When a black woman, I see you holding hands with another black woman, that's not your culture. That's not your law, that's not your statutes and commandments. That's not what the Most High made you to be, black woman, Hispanic woman, black man, Hispanic man. That's not your identity. But because thou hast rejected knowledge, you ain't gonna be a teacher for the Most High because you reject knowledge. The Most High is not gonna allow you to be a successful preacher that's gonna actually save your people out of the ghettos and slums where we have been thrown into. That our people need real leaders, leaders that are willing to go down to where the Mexican border is so that we can help those in need. Leaders that are willing to look past their own lifestyle comforts.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, verse 2.
Go ahead.
I have spread out my hands all day unto the rebellious people.
Go ahead.
Which walketh in a way that was not good.
And walking is a way that is not good. Read on.
After their own thoughts.
Go ahead.
A people that provoked me to anger.
What?
That provoked me to anger.
Black and Hispanic man provokes the Most High to anger when we whore ourselves out just to get likes on Instagram. Right. When we put that blunt together and roll that weed in that blunt, the Most High is provoked to anger when he sees that. And that's in the scriptures, clear as day for you to see. Smoke does not belong in your lungs. If you're a grown-ass man, I shouldn't have to tell you that. But I guess we have to because we have become so childish here in America that we go back to our base instinct of only wanting to feel good because you want to escape the reality that you actually live in hell. And America is hell for the Black and Hispanic man. But we are going to bring you out of that hell because we're going to show you what your real culture is. And it is the truth that is going to make you free. But you need to be made free. And that is going to take progress. Because you are a work in progress. From the day that you were born, even up until now, and continuing forward, you want to get better. You want to improve yourself, but you don't know how to do it. Well, now you have the chance to find out how you actually get it done. And we will not fail you, because the scriptures that we bring out are going to clearly give you the blueprint for that success in your spiritual journey, in your cultural identity, and your recovery. Go ahead.
Continually to my face.
They said, start from the top. That's it.
A people that provoked me to anger continually to my face.
You disrespect the Most High when you don't cover your behind up. When you walking around half naked. When you smoking them blunts in the street. When you up in the club acting a fool. Where a man's jumping from woman to woman and throwing them away the next day. That's whoredom. Those are things you're not supposed to do. If a woman has more than one man and she sees every other week, that's a disgusting thing. That's provoking the Most High to anger right to his face. You end up with an STD. Don't be upset when that happens, because the Most High warned you about being a whore. The Most High warned you about being a slut. And then our people was doing what? During the COVID pandemic, you had OnlyFans go all the way out the roof, because now everybody just wants money. Everybody only cares about is money. We don't give a damn about money over here. You ain't gotta worry about whether or not we work or not. We could be a damn rocket scientist for all that matters. That's not more important than this right here.
Right.
It doesn't matter about what status you have on the earth and your economic status. What matters is if you keeping God's laws, statutes, and commandments if you're Black and Hispanic. If you're not, we don't care what you do. Go ahead and enjoy your kingdom while you can, because it's gonna come to an end. Your BMW is not gonna work when the EMP hits. You understand that? Your military might is not going to work when the nukes drop. None of this is going to matter when the decree brings forth and the day pass as the chaff and the fierce anger of the Lord is brought on this earth, because the earth deserves it. And the inhabitants thereof are disgusting and vile in the face of the Lord. Read that again.
A people that provoked me to anger.
The Most High has been provoked to anger, and his anger is being shown every day on the earth. Every day in our ghettos, in our communities, when it could be so much different. It could be so much different if we would get this thing right. And this is where you get it right. This is where you do this thing the right way. This is the only chance you have, Black and Hispanic man. This is the place of refuge. This is that little sanctuary that the Most High will protect you in. Read on.
Continually to my face.
Go ahead.
That sacrificeth in gardens.
Keep going.
And burneth incense upon altars of brick.
Give me verse 3. Verse 4.
Which remain among the graves.
Which what?
Remain amongst the graves.
Our people remain among the graves. Guess what? You're walking on a grave right now. The Alamo used to be what was called a missionary, where they used to convert Native Americans and Hispanics into Catholicism and baptism. And because a lot of them didn't want to accept that, they're buried under these trees right here.
Right.
They're buried under this watchtower right here.
Right.
There are people who have become so wicked that we dwell among the graves. Read on.
And lodged in the monuments.
And lodged in the what?
Monuments.
And our people lodge in the monuments. You want to go and check out the monument of the mission of San Antonio? You want to check out the Alamo? You want to go to this new exhibit that they've been working on? You want to do all those things, but all you're really doing is just leaning on your enemy for comfort. And your enemy does not want to give you that comfort, because he knows that if you actually come back to your real heritage, his system stops working. His system comes to an end.
Which remain among the graves.
Our people remain among the graves because they're so dead. They remain among the graves. They gather together with those that are like-minded in death and in ignorance. And so you see congregations of people that are walking around, but they're really just pillars of salt in the flesh. They're really just people without faith. They're really just people constantly looking back to the comfort of the same place that enslaved them. And it's time for you to pull yourself away from that comfort. You have to get uncomfortable to get to the kingdom of heaven. The kingdom of heaven ain't just gonna be given to you on a silver platter, but because you wanna ignore the truth, you'll never get there. And you'll just keep returning to this cycle of hell every time you enter your existence on this earth. But in order for you to break that cycle, God's laws, statutes, and commandments need to be written in your heart. They need to be written in your mind. They need to be embedded in the pillars of your house. They need to be heard amongst your family, your children. Your dinner conversations need to be about God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Because if it isn't, then you will die here in America. And you will suffer before you die here in America. Go ahead.
And lodged into the monuments.
Go ahead.
Which eat swine's flesh.
Which what?
Eat swine's flesh.
Read that again.
Eat swine's flesh.
The backsliding children of Israel do what?
Eat swine's flesh.
When we say not to eat pork, we're not freaking Muslims up here. It says in Leviticus chapter 11 not to eat swine's flesh because it's unclean to you. You're talking about a trash compactor. That's what a pig is. Why would you eat a trash compactor that can't regurgitate? Why would you eat something so vile when its sole purpose is to eat what else can't be eaten? Why would you eat shrimp, crab, and lobster when those are the animals that God created to clean the ocean? But because you want to take part in this place, you do what?
Eat swine's flesh.
Go ahead.
And broth of abominable things is in their vessels.
A broth is what? A soup. A broth of abominable things like your shrimp gumbo, right? Like your pork ramen. You know what I'm saying? Like them foods that you think are delicacies and fancy for you to eat, that you sit back in them restaurants and you laugh and joke about how other people are poor and you're not because you can afford to go out to eat, but you're eating the wrong things. What you don't realize is the mark of the beast has you. It has you locked into its lifestyle. It has you locked into its dietary plan. It has you locked into its system. The only way that you're gonna break away from that is if you actually come to class and learn the truth. And that takes hard work because this is a place where not everybody can make it. This is a school that not everybody can pass the curriculum. This is a school that will kick you out if you continuously fail in your curriculum. The King James Bible, if you're an English-speaking person, that's the authorized version of the Bible that you want to read. You don't want to read the New International Version. You don't want to read the Gideon's Version. What the enemy wants to do, what Satan wants to do, is he wants to take the two-edged sword of the King James Bible out of your hands and replace it with a butter knife called the NIV. Replace it with a butter knife called the New King James. He doesn't want you armed. He doesn't want you able to battle the dark forces on this world. And they have you right now. They have you because you're out here enjoying the monument that's over the grave of the Native Americans, which are the children of Israel, which are God's chosen people. To hell with the so-called Jewish man. They're not the real Israelites. They'll even tell you that. They'll tell you straight to your face that they are converts. You deserve the chance to have a perspective that gives you strength instead of weakness, that gives you solidification rather than uncertainty. And the Christian church does nothing but confuse you and makes you think that your own thoughts are what matters. And the scripture we just read said what? Said that your own thoughts are vain. Says that your own way of life is incorrect. And so if you're not sticking with the scriptures, there is no light in you, meaning what? There is no truth in you. But the Isupk is the home of the truth. And this is where you come to get fed. This is where you come to get fed the truth. We come to you on the street because you won't step into the classroom on your own. So we'll do whatever it takes to raise our nation up, and Black and Hispanic people can finally understand everything around them.
Which say, stand by thyself.
It say what?
Stand by thyself.
People that are not in the truth try to tell us what?
Stand by thyself.
Read on.
Come not near to me.
Come not near to me. That's why whenever we are out here teaching, I don't know if you notice, but there's always a vacuum that's created whenever we're teaching. There's always a circumference of people that are gathered together far away from us, but every time you see this, and your sidewalk stays empty. That's why they say what? People that are wicked say what?
Stand by thyself.
Stand by thyself. Stay on that corner where y'all are yelling and just be there by yourself. Don't come near us. Don't try to teach us nothing. Don't try to tell me a better way of life. Don't try to give me a new perspective. You can't tell me nothing. That's right. Exactly how our people are. And that's exactly what the captain was bringing out earlier, because this has been going on since those times. Because people wanted to fit in with Greece, and they wanted to fit in with Rome, and they wanted to go see the monuments of Greece and Rome, like the Pantheon, like the Colosseum. And how is that any different than you going to visit the Alamo, going to visit the new watchtower that they put up right here, going to visit the stadiums where our people shed their blood and break their knees and fight and entertain for our oppressors' enjoyment? Read on.
Come not near to me.
And that's exactly what a lot of y'all do. You'll walk around, you're like, Don, I don't want to hear this. I don't want to be near this. I gotta walk away from this. Read on.
For I am holier than thou.
For what?
I am holier than thou.
And you know what the sad thing is? A lot of people that are walking by, they think that they are on some type of holy level. They think they have the righteousness with them. They think they have the moral high ground. But guess what? We have the high ground. We're the ones that are on this pillar of wood right here telling you the truth. But because they say what? Read that again.
And stand by thyself. Come not near to me.
This is why a lot of people just walk by on the street. They say, stay over there where you're at, where you're preaching hate, and come not near unto me, and do what? Read on.
For I am holier than thou.
Because you go to church, you say what?
I am holier than thou.
Because you're not yelling on the corner, you say what?
I am holier than thou.
Because you're a good American who has a 401k, you say what?
I am holier than thou.
But that's BS and you know it. Because we gotta come out here and tell you to follow God's word when the rest of the world is out here sinning. When the rest of the world is out here comfortable in their filth. But we have an entire nation of tribes to raise up. And so when you see us out here yelling, don't mind us. We are out here for you. We are out here for you so-called blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians. Because if you just hear one word about you being an Israelite, maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you just might look into it and find out that it's correct. You just might start putting down that swine's flesh. You might just stop being a whore on OnlyFans. You might just stop searching for likes on Facebook and Instagram. You might just stop going to the strip club and going and looking for whores at the club and the bars that San Antonio is well known for. San Antonio is known as the worst city in the U.S. when it comes to divorce and adultery. Now, why is that? Because you think you're holier than everybody else when you just walk by and not listen to the words of the scriptures. You think that you're on a righteous level when you have your church pastors that are giving you and feeding you with the idea that everything that you're doing is okay, when it is not okay. You have to be willing to hear the hard truth. You have to be willing to hear the constructive criticism that doesn't always feel good to hear. The scripture says, open rebuke is greater than secret love. It's greater for somebody to be openly corrective and chastisable about the things that you do rather than to agree with everything you do and to be lenient and to be acceptance and to have coexistence in your heart. All of that is a function that our enemy uses to keep us asleep because that's how they live. And it's not our job as the children of Israel to live like them. It was never our job to assimilate into them. We were always supposed to be separate from them. But our people are what? Read that from the top, Bubba Shop.
That this is a rebellious people.
Our people are rebellious. You just can't wait. You can't wait to go on that date with that other man even though you got a man at home. You can't wait to send that nude to that dude. You can't wait to roll that blunt when you get off work. You can't wait because you are just full of lust and you are full of ignorance. And the Most High says that our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge because we reject God's laws. Read.
Lying children.
And because we lie about every damn thing that we do. Read on.
Children that would not hear the law of the Lord.
The law of the Lord says not to be a homosexual, and now you got Pride Month. How many blacks and Hispanics are celebrating that? Way too many. Matter of fact, one is too many. Right. And we will not stop until every last one turns away from that lifestyle.
That's right.
We will not stop until Christ returns to set things straight so that we now know exactly what's right and what's wrong. Read that part again.
That this is a rebellious people.
Read on.
Lying children.
Lying children. You lie to your parents because you say that you're going to your friend's house for a sleepover. You're actually going to sleep with some older guy. You're sneaking out the home to go smoke that blunt with the kids down the street. Lying children is what has been generated in the Christian church. Because why? Because your parents were lying children as well. And that is the effect of Christianity on our people. That is the effect of this place on blacks and Hispanics and Native American Indians. It is toxic to us to live like them. Go ahead.
Children that would not hear the law of the Lord.
Read on.
Which say to the seers.
Go ahead.
See not.
And they even have the nerve to come up here and yell in our face and say, F you, you're not supposed to see the truth. You're going against the grain. You're going against what Master says. You shouldn't be saying the white man is the devil. They say what? Read that again.
See not.
Says,
which say to the seers.
Which say to the people that know the truth about the white man. Read.
See not.
Don't see that. Don't focus on that. We're supposed to be moving past that. We're supposed to all be all together now, holding hands and singing Kumbaya. The Most High did not create the earth to be that way. If he would have done that, he wouldn't have separated everybody after the Tower of Babel. But our enemy seeks to devour us by making us what? Slaves to his language, slaves to his economy, slaves to his food system, slaves to his education system. And you lapped it up and you're lining your kids right up to be led to the slaughterhouse. Right. We're here to pull you away from that like that damn ghost on Mario Kart that picks you up with the fishing rod and puts you back on the track. Because if we don't have that, you're just gonna fall straight in. You're just gonna fall straight into the lifestyle of Babylon. What do you think all them Jamaican people was talking about? Talking about Babylon is falling, burned down Sodom. They're talking about America. They're talking about the Caucasian race's influence on the earth. Read that again.
Which say to the seers,
go ahead.
See not.
Read on.
And to the prophets.
And to the what?
And to the prophets.
And to the prophets. Go ahead.
Prophesy not.
You know who's real and who isn't by who walks by and tries to ignore what we're saying, and who's real, who actually takes a second to actually open their ear to hear the truth. The scripture says, he that hath an ear, let him hear the truth of the Bible. The scripture says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things that are written therein, for the time. Hey.
Prophesy not unto us right things.
Don't tell us to keep God's laws. Don't tell us that homosexuality is wrong. Don't teach us right things. Go ahead.
And speak unto us a smooth things.
Speak unto us things that make us feel good. Speak unto us things that keep us asleep. That's what the mass population wants. That's what you want because this place has you and has you gripped by its hands, and now you are a part of Babylon. Now you cling to this place. So much so that you're willing to ignore the prophets. Willing to say to the seers, see not, and to the prophets, prophesy not. Read on.
Prophesy deceits.
Prophesy deceits, go ahead.
Get you out of the way.
Go ahead.
Turn aside out of the path.
That's what they say. It's like, get off of that street corner. Get you out of the way. Read that again.
Get you out of the way. Turn aside out of the path.
You're blocking our path. We're just trying to pass by Ripley's, believe it or not. We're just trying to enjoy the Alamo. You said, get thee out of the way. Pack up your signs and get out of here. That's what y'all say because you don't want to hear God's laws. That's why we got to bring it to you raw because no one else is going to tell you the right thing. They want to tell you what makes you feel good. It be our own people that come against us. They're trying to tell us to get out of the street corners. They're trying to get us to not keep God's laws. But it says there that read that last part again.
Cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before us.
Y'all thought that the Battle of the Alamo was finished. Y'all thought that the so-called Hispanic man lost that battle. It's still going on right now.
Right.
Because you have men that are waking up to the truth and coming back to their real culture. The real story of the Battle of the Alamo was that all that fighting at the Battle of the Alamo, get this, listen good. I'll give you a story about the Battle of the Alamo. Have you heard of Joe Travis? Joe Travis was a black slave that belonged to what's his name? What's the other Travis's name? His slave master fought and died at the Battle of the Alamo, and the so-called Hispanics took over the Alamo. And then when they found that black man there, they let him go free. The whole Battle of the Alamo, you know what the real result of that battle was? A black man got to go free, and he was saved by his brothers, the Mexican man.
That's right.
And that's worth applauding right there. Because black and brown unity is the key to the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel coming back together and bringing our righteousness to our people once again. But you're not going to see that in the world. The world's going to ignore that. And so we have to make sure that we interrupt that atmosphere of false reality around you. We have to make sure to disrupt it so that you actually have a fighting chance, because that's how much we care about y'all, even though y'all aren't in our direct family circle. We have to see the bigger picture and understand the perspective that there's a much bigger mission at stake here than just the Battle of the Alamo, than just the Battle of Wounded Knee, than the transatlantic slave trade and all of the things that came from that. We have a rebuilding of the nation at hand, and that requires soldiers. That requires men that are willing to stand up for the truth.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 8, verse 9.
Go ahead.
And he said unto me, go in.
Go ahead.
And behold, the wicked abominations.
The angel was talking to Ezekiel. He said, go into this room and behold the wicked abominations. Go ahead.
That they do here.
That they do here. And this is what? Hundreds, if not a couple thousand years ago? Read on.
So I went in.
So Ezekiel went into this room, and what did he see?
And saw, and behold.
Go ahead.
Every form of creeping things. And abominable beasts, and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the walls.
Portrayed on the walls. You go into this room, there's a weird vibe. There's all types of pictures on the walls of different creatures, of different idols. Read on.
Around about,
go ahead.
And there stood before them 70 men.
How many?
70 men.
70 men. That sounds like a concert is going on. That sounds like a gathering is going on. Read on.
Of the ancients of the house of Israel.
And even the elders of Israel were getting caught up in something disgusting and what the angel considered to be abominable. Read that.
And in the midst of them,
go ahead,
stood Jezaniah,
go ahead,
the son of Shaphan.
Keep going.
With every man his censer in his hand.
Every man had a censer in his hand. That's a burner. A censer is a burner. Read on.
And a thick cloud of incense went up.
And a thick cloud of what?
Incense went up.
They were hotboxing this room using strange incense. Incense like you know today is marijuana. instance, like today you go into a pothead's room and he has all these pictures of Bob Marley and Eminem and all these different idols on the wall. And what is he doing? He's sitting there with all his buddies and they're doing what? They're getting high. They doing this, and it's an abomination to the Most High to be like that. It's an abomination for people to be homosexual. It's an abomination to have idols. Read on.
Then said he unto me,
Then said the angel unto him, go ahead.
Son of man,
Go ahead.
have thou seen what the angels of the house of Israel do in the dark?
This is what they do behind closed doors. That's why every time you go to a concert, your favorite hip hop artist, what's going on? Why is everybody smoking weed? I thought it was still illegal here in San Antonio. You go to a hip hop concert, there's people smoking weed. You got people that are worshiping other idols. You got people that are celebrating the holidays of America. Even celebrating 4th of July. It goes right along with this. Because all it is our people being assimilated to a culture that is not on this side right here.
That's right.
Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are not coming back to their true heritage. Go ahead.
Every man in the chambers of his imagery.
Every man in the chambers of an imagery. What we just said earlier, what? We said that everybody was doing what they felt was right. In their minds, in their hearts, in their thoughts. Go ahead.
For they say,
what do they say?
the Lord seeth us not.
The Lord don't see what we're doing behind these closed doors. And that's why you got so-called Mexican men that are in cartels that are gathering women up and trafficking them. That's disgusting. I agree. We got to clean that up. We got to be a righteous example on this earth. We're not supposed to do the things that we imagine in our heart to be good. We got to not act like the Most High doesn't see what we're doing. Because the scripture says the eyes of the Lord are bright 10,000 times brighter than the sun, man. Nothing that you could do behind closed doors is not going to be brought to light. Because he sees everything that we do.
Right.
But those people that don't believe in God's laws, those people that have been caught up in the idolatry of America, what do?
Hand around.
The Lord,
Hand the camera.
for they say, the Lord seeth us not.
The Lord don't see what we do. He doesn't see what you do when a man is lying with another man. He don't see what you do when you sparking that blunt.
Right.
He don't see you, sister, lying with that other sister. You think God doesn't see that, but he does see that.
That's right.
What else do these potheads say?
The Lord has forsaken the earth.
And that's why you think you having some deep conversation when you out in the woods smoking with your buddies from college, with your buddies from high school, drunk as hell on all these different drugs, and you say God is forsaking the earth because you see all the destruction going on in the earth, and you don't understand that it is God that is doing that. He's setting the earthquakes forth. He's the one that's causing the war in the Ukraine. He's the one that set the pandemic of the coronavirus and causing the governments to fall apart.
Right.
He's the one that's doing that. You say God's forsaking the earth. He's just cleaning this world to prepare for the next one.
That's right.
Isupk, the commanding general Yohana, is preparing the world to come after this one comes to its screeching halt of an end.
That's right.
But you want to dwell in this place and enjoy it for what it is, you go right ahead. But when we showed you in the scriptures what happens to those people that just walk by, to those people that just say, get out of our way, get off of the street, pack up your things and leave. Those people are fit for destruction. Those people are vessels of dishonor. But here in the Isupk, we build men of honor. We build men that are willing to do the right thing while the rest of the world could go to hell. Because our people are already there, and we are climbing our way out of it together. I want to show y'all something today because y'all come out here to learn some history, right? You come to the Alamo because you want to get a bit of history. I'm going to show you some real history by a scholar that is well known across the world. His name is Captain Katazar of the Isupk. And he put together a book that's going to show you something that you ain't never seen before. Give me page 20. Because the so-called black and Hispanic man has a rich culture. Well before we were forced to learn Spanish, well before we were supposed to learn English. We were the ones that were the Israelites of the Bible. And I'm going to show you that. Because in Campeche, where my ancestors come from, which is the north side of what's now known as Guatemala, they used to have the shield of David on them. Take a closer look. Don't be afraid to come look. This is called Stella from Campeche, which is the northern part of what is modern day Guatemala. And if you look at this image here, you're gonna see a man with a ring, an earring on his ear that has the shield of David on it.
Right.
The shield of David, known as the Magan Dawada. And so this right here is ancient Paleo Hebrew. The letter Da is a triangle. And the name David is Dawada. And so he put his name together, and his initials was that shield of David. And the Mexican man and the so-called Native American man, the so-called black man, are from the 12 tribes of Israel. It ain't a damn thing you can tell us to try to say otherwise. So to hell with the so-called Jewish man for trying to claim our identity, because we're taking it back. It ain't a damn thing that they can do about it.
That's right.
Because we have the archaeology. We have our knowledge of our history. We understand the Lashuan Kodash. It is ours, and it is ours forever, and it belongs to Christ. And when he comes back, this kingdom that he sets on earth is going to last forever.
It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3, verse 12. Go and proclaim these words toward the north.
Go and proclaim these words to the north. They're talking about the northern tribes of Israel, the so-called Hispanics and Native Americans that left Assyrian captivity in 700 BC to come over here to the Americas. And it took a year and a half to get here. Go and proclaim into the northern tribes, the Native Americans, the Mexicans, the Brazilians, the Puerto Ricans, the Argentinians, the Colombians, those people of North American and indigenous descent of North, Central, and South America. Shalom to you. You are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel.
Right.
And say, return.
They say what?
Return.
What are we saying?
Return.
Return back to your heritage, man. Come back to your strength. Read.
Now backslide in Israel.
Yeah, you've been backsliding. You want to be a homosexual? Okay. You want to wear a strapless shirt? Okay. But you need to turn from being the backsliding children. You got to turn from coming out of that strip club. I know you were trying to make ends meet during the pandemic, and you lived a lifestyle that you know is filthy, that you were afraid of. You're afraid to tell your family about. But now you got to come back to your heritage. Read on.
Said the Lord.
Said the
Behind
Lord,
you,
go
nigga.
ahead.
And I will not cause my anger to fall upon you.
And the Most High's judgment will not come upon you if you return. But if you don't return, then his anger will fall upon you.
Right.
And it'll fall upon you quick. And you could die well before you think you're gonna live. You're dying. You got our people that can't even live to see 25. You got all these things in the Black and Hispanic community, so much turmoil and destruction that we no longer have our truth. We no longer have our brotherhood amongst one another. So we have to rebuild that from scratch, from the bottom up. And that's exactly what we do with this school.
The Google Doc canvas expands across the planet. I command it, how I handle my urge to smoke cannabis. They wrote upon the manuscript, enhance my ambition. Discipline, confidence, and wisdom loads my ammunition. Chaos intention, who's to say you ain't a pagan on your born day? You will never be a super saiyan at this going rate. Stupid little Sagan, superficial, low on faith. My intuition says a nuke will be your fate. 2/3 niggas mumble rapping like a Jake Land, talking like a fake. But don't forget to change your brakes, change your ways, save your life, make way, hang a right. The Porsche's faster on the turnpike at the Nordschleife. 5 years sober, Zabalawan soldier on the mic, hold it down. I don't tarry at the wine. Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai, I Nashwa Abad, Adawam, Lai Walam Yam, Shemai Yasher Alaram, Yahweh Da, Wabanyam Yam, Barakata Yahana Wa Mahayaman, Allah Wapiam, Saranyam, Kwata Zion, Rapamagan Hagan, the 12 tribes of Zion. Pills of salt walk it with their faults. They hawk stocks while the Dow drops, killing the charts. Embark tariffs on America with negative thoughts that cause blood clots prophesied on the blog talks.